Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you a very interesting topic, actually, which is everything that has to do with VAT compliance. We all know that it's a nightmare to deal with. That is not the easiest thing, especially if you're expanding into Europe. And that's why I brought my friend Robert Mate, who is actually the executive vice president at Taxually, which everything that they do is regarding VAT compliance. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna be able to answer some of the typical questions we have around this topic, and learn from him, right? So yeah, Robert, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the invite, Vincenzo. It's a pleasure to have a podcast with you with the e-commerce lab, Ecomcy. I'm feeling good. I just came back from New York. Last week I was on the White Label show.
Good.
So it was another great opportunity to meet new clients and
Yeah,
see what they are struggling regarding the expansion to EU,
I see. Yeah.
especially with the VAT. So I had a great speech there, and I think it was really useful for the US clients to get an overview, what to do if they are expanding, what are the most important things, and what are the consequences if they avoid to register for VAT.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, especially Americans, every time I speak to clients in the US, they are always afraid to jump into Europe. It's like it's such an unknown territory. But I think mainly everything that has to do with VAT and the compliance and all of that is very tricky. So it's awesome to have for sure people like you in the space. Now, before we jump into that, usually I like to use the first couple of minutes just to get to know an introduction about you to our audience, so they get to learn from you, and just to see how you basically went from jumping to the commerce space and landing Taxually. If you can give us a little bit of that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so thank you for the short introduction. You already did it for me. So my name is Robert Mate. Before we established Taxually, I was employed by KPMG, which is one of the big four tax advisor company. And in the company in KPMG, I was in one team. We were handling the e-commerce business, so we built up there the opportunity for the e-commerce clients using KPMG. That means it was like a VAT engine tool through which the clients were able to register for VAT through KPMG, and that was the my part there. I was back in those days a country manager for Czech Republic,
Mm-hmm.
so I
I
was
see.
handling just the notifications, the registrations, and the VAT just for Czech Republic. But I get more into the e-commerce business after when I left KPMG, and the founders of Taxually, they invited me to be a part of Taxually. So from the really beginning, we saw the opportunity to simplify the VAT compliance for e-commerce clients. In the really beginning, we were focused just on the e-commerce clients,
Okay.
but how the time went, then we and how we growed, then we started to focus on small, medium enterprises and also on large enterprises now. But in the really beginning, we were able to cover with Taxually system what we developed from the scratch. The Taxually system is a cloud-based solution for
Okay.
e-commerce clients, which can be really helpful if they want to expand and if they want to register for VAT. So the registration process to Taxually is really simple. So you just need to
Mm-hmm.
go through the questionnaire where we will ask from you several questions about your business. You
Okay.
just need to upload a few documents about your company. And
Okay.
then after that, the system is automatically generate for you the power of attorneys,
Mm.
which we need for the VAT registration. You are able to select the countries where you want to expand, and we will handle it everything on behalf of you if we have the signed POAs.
That's
That's the
awesome.
Yeah, so that's the first, that's the beginning of the whole process. After a few weeks, when you sign up, you will get the VAT number in the country.
Okay.
And we can start the submission. So with Taxually system, as I mentioned it, we how we help clients is like we have different connections. For example, Amazon is one of our API connection what we already have for a long time. That means that if you're an Amazon seller, then you just link your Taxually account to your Amazon Seller Central, and then we are getting the data every month automatically. So you don't need to care about some,
that's huge,
data.
yeah. Because most solution you need to send the report and everything is a mess. So the fact that you have that API is huge, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, they just connect the two platforms. Then we are getting the data automatically. They can just, log into the Taxually system, and after that, if they are happy with the result, they can just approve the VAT returns, and we will submit them automatically after the approval. So it's pretty simple. Yeah. So this is the way how I get into this industry. I was always, really interested how Amazon really works. I also tried to sell on Amazon back in 2017, but it wasn't that successful. So we just went in this industry, in that area where we are, I would say, better focused, and where we have the knowledge and where we have the skills.
Yeah, I love that, and thank you for bringing that history also of your background as a seller. I think that's always great to see, and I see that multiple times among our guests and people that I meet. Is like the way of doing business with Amazon. There are many ways. You can be a seller, you can be a service provider, you can be a consultant, and it's great to see what you have built in the VAT space, which is very unique, and especially your technology. Now I think what I would like to start jumping into, so we can start providing some kind of insights to our audience around VAT compliance, is like, let's say when somebody's jumping specifically into Europe, that we know is basically the place where it's more complicated to deal with everything that's to do with VAT. Most of the time, you need to decide which country you should be starting with first, right? So based on your experience, on all the clients you already have within your system, what is usually the markets you see people jumping first, and what is the amount of markets you see people usually jumping at once? Because I think realistically for some people, it's not feasible to register VAT to all of them at once. So what is your advice on that?
Yeah, so I see that the most of the clients, especially from US, when they are expanding to EU, they have always, fear from this market. But the most, I would say, common countries are Germany and now UK. It's already outside of the EU, but they are treating. They consider that it's UK. So I recommend always in Europe. I recommend always Germany and France, because those are the biggest markets. But we also see, like Poland is a really nice market. There is a lot of buyers. There is also the mentality of the clientele is really focused on the e-commerce. So if someone is buying something, they are going to the Allegro, Amazon, to some page, and they are ordering it from there. It's absolutely different, for example, in Hungary, because in Hungary, for example, where I'm living, here it's not really,
there isn't a culture for buying online yet. Yeah,
absolutely no. Like we order food to our homes, but if you want to get, I don't know, a toothpaste or whatever, you are going to the store and you are buying it. But in Poland, I have a lot of friends, and they say it's an absolutely different culture in this e-commerce world.
That's great. Okay, and let me ask you, when it comes to especially starting within Germany and the UK, there's definitely specific things that will trigger that you will need to register for VAT, especially if you're coming from overseas, right? So how does it work usually? I mean, do you need to register for VAT from day one? Do you have like a threshold that if you don't hit, you don't register? What is usually the scenario for most people when jumping to Europe?
So most of the US sellers, they are starting the launch in EU and in UK with the FBA program, which is, the simplest
Pan-European.
way.
Yeah.
Yes, which is the simplest way. So they are launching the FBA center and they are using the FBA model of the Amazon. And from that moment, they need to register from the beginning, because they will send some goods into those countries. That means that they need to have a VAT registration. And of course, it's also it's beneficiary for them to have that, because when they are importing goods, for example, into Germany, they need to pay the import VAT. And if they have the VAT number, they can claim it back.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, I think these are the really first steps, what they have to do. The registration in these two countries are pretty similar, I will say. In Germany, it's now a little bit faster to get a VAT number. In UK, it was really easy in the past. Now the tax authorities, they are requesting multiple additional documents. So you need to have, proofs that you will have a business activity in the country. They are a little bit more strict now.
I see. Okay. So actually, now that you bring UK, that's a very interesting topic. I mean, we can briefly touch on that. Is like after Brexit, UK became much more complicated when it comes to everything that has to do with compliance and VAT and all of that. So that means at the moment, whenever I mean, what is the biggest change you have seen from the moment Brexit happened? So do you see more documentation being requested and more compliance? So what are some of the key things Americans should have into consideration this example when deciding to jump into Europe? Because before, as you say, it was just Germany, and from there it was expanding to all the countries at once. But now UK is not anymore into Europe, so you have to basically design two strategies at once. So
yeah, so the biggest change is like if you are a seller and if you are expanding to UK, then you just not need to be registered for VAT. You need to get also the ERI number. So before that, it was enough to have like one for the whole Europe, as it is right now. So if you have a German ERI, then you are able to use it for Czech Republic, Poland, whatever. But if you are moving goods and into UK, then you need to have a UK one as well. Also, like all the transactions going from the UK to Europe, they are not anymore treated as a movement, as the FC transfers. If you are moving it between the warehouses, or if like a movement of own goods between Germany and UK, if you are moving your own goods, but they are you need to export and import the goods into Germany. Also, the sales from UK, they are not anymore like how it used to be. It's not a distance sale anymore. It's always like export and import into EU. So yeah, we see that a lot of EU clients, they are selling nowadays less to UK.
Yeah.
How they used to, because it's a little bit more it's a little bit less time effective for them. So they are able
I guess it's more efficient to expand within France and Italy and Spain rather than jump to UK. Because of that.
They can spread the goods faster in between the countries. Like the delivery of the product is much quicker.
100%. So now that we're coming back to Europe, there's also something relatively new that is being, be bothering some people in terms of the complexity that you now need this extra thing. And the thing I mentioned is the EPR, right? So can you briefly touch on that? How does it work? How do I get registered? When do I need it? The basics.
So EPR is like, it's not something new. I would say it's just became mandatory because the EPR, for example, I will say, like for example, in Hungary, we have clients who are reporting EPR for 5 years, and Amazon just announced that everyone needs to have the EPR number because it will be mandatory from in Germany from this year January, like from 2022 January. And the EPR number is is the number what you need if you are selling goods into Germany. So you don't need to keep the goods in Germany, even if you're selling goods. So if you're sending your goods from Czech Republic, Poland, whatever, to German customers, you need to be registered for EPR. So you need to obtain the EPR number.
Okay.
To obtain the EPR number is not a huge deal. We are able to obtain the EPR number within 2-3 days.
Okay.
It's pretty quick. And after, when you get your EPR number, you need to report your, so you need to report all the transactions, what you sent or sold to Germany. And there are like different categories for EPR. So the most, the category which everyone will probably need is for packaging, because you are sending stuff in some boxes. So it's really the thing what everyone will need to report to them. It's on the annual basis, so you don't need to report it on the monthly basis. It's enough to report once, but you need to pay to in advance the contribution fee, which can be calculated based on your sales from the 1 year before, or if you just launched your sales to Germany, there is like a regular contribution fee which needs to be paid. And by the end of the year, when you will be able to show how many pieces of or pallets you sold to Germany, then they will recalculate, like we will recalculate it, we will report it, and they will send you back, the difference what you need to pay regarding this contribution.
Okay. And you keep mentioning in the example Germany, but just to clarify for audience, do you need the EPR for every single country in Europe, or is country specific?
Now you need just for France and Germany in the Pan-European program, but from 2023 January they are planning to go live and to go mandatory also in the other countries.
Okay, so that means most likely is advised to get ready for those countries as well when it comes to EPR.
Yes, and it's also really like a product. It's also like a product specialized, like kind of. It's like a really product oriented, thing that you need to be aware if you are selling electronic stuff or if you are selling.
It's based on the category, the materials, and all of that.
Yeah, so you have like a different categories, and you need to know how to treat them properly to avoid any, penalty or whatever they can.
Okay. Good. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So now, just to start, also concluding some of the general questions people have when it comes to VAT compliance. So, what are some of the things? What are some of the issues you can have for sure, which I can already imagine if you don't do VAT compliance from day one? So, is there a specific fines in place, or they give you a certain window that if you by a mistake or you forgot you didn't register, they allow you that? How does it usually works? Which is basically most of the mistakes I have seen when people jump into Europe, they forget to do it, they don't do it. So what are the things you usually see happening when that happens? Yeah.
So if you avoid the VAT registration in Europe, it can have multiple consequences. So first one is that you will need to report all the transactions, what happened in the past, when you wasn't registered for VAT retroactively. That means you will be automatically penalized by the tax authorities.
Okay.
You will need to pay someone who will calculate these retroactive returns on behalf of you, which is also much more pricey when you are doing it from the beginning. And yeah, and after the first submission, probably they can announce an audit on your reports. So you will not just need to submit the returns, but you will need to also prove your business activity in that country in that period when you wasn't registered for VAT. So yeah, it's
you don't want to get there.
no, it's really like it's always better to register in advance and to make sure that everything is set up correctly, like you are registered for VAT, you are reporting correctly, because if you will avoid it, it will have like a lot of consequences. You will get your Amazon account blocked. That's another thing. So, if you are not registered for VAT in Germany, or if you have an unpaid VAT, they are suspending the accounts really, really quickly. So I will not recommend it to anyone, because then you are not able to sell. So you are struggling like how to, like unlock your account. If it's really on the Amazon side, then probably you will wait days and weeks.
And then all the revenue you lose. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Great.
So you will lose revenue, plus you will pay penalties.
Everything negative. There isn't every single a single plus thing. Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Good, man. So yeah, I don't know if there any other tip or maybe advice you want to give, like maybe avoid this, or an advice from after seeing so many accounts. Is something you want to add?
I would just say that, like, be compliant in Europe, and you will have a really quiet and happy life if we are talking about VAT compliance. Anyway, like, you will have like a lot of pain from the different, like warning letters from different tax authorities. So it's really, really, really bad if you are not familiar like what can happen and it's happening to you, and then you are trying to solve it. So it will be a lot of hustle, to manage it and then to solve the problems what happened because you were not compliant. So yeah, definitely. I will always recommend to register for a VAT in advance, to make sure that you are working with the proper service provider who can really have the expertise and who really have the people who can help you, who can advise you, and who can, like, submit and calculate the VAT returns properly on your behalf.
Totally agree with you, 100%. Great. So is there basically where people can find you? So give us a little bit of that. Is there any specific link you want to share or promotion with the audience so people can reach out to you?
Yes. So basically, they can contact me to my email address. I will share it with you, or how can I do that? Because
so we can put it down in the link in the description. Okay.
Okay, so we will put it into the link into the description. I will also put there a landing page for Ecomcy clients where they will be able to register with a discount for VAT.
Okay. Awesome.
And I think that's all. Like,
thank you.
That's the main channel for registration.
Yeah, thank you very much, Robert. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you here. I mean, you share very good insights when it comes to VAT compliance. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have future episodes about that. And in the meantime, looking forward to meet you again here in December in London, man. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Speak soon.
Bye. Take care.